In this video we're going to look at two macros for Confluence, the page properties and the page properties report. So let's dive right into Confluence and see what those looks like. So in Confluence, if we create a new page, let's call this page properties. And then we have the two macros. So the first macro that you use on the pages themselves. That is the one that is called page properties. So we can just do the / and we can do properties. And this one is the one that we want. And the page properties report is what we're going to use later on. So let's start with the page properties. So when you create a page properties, it will be empty. It will just be a little macro window or a little box that you can put other things into. On the right side, you will get two options. You can set an ID for it, so you can actually have them referenced in different ways. So if you have multiple page properties, you can reference which one you want to present later on. You can also choose if when you are viewing the page, if this is going to show or if it's going to be hidden. So it will only be visible when you edit the page. So for this one, we're just not going to add a page properties ID and we're going to leave it so we can see it. So to actually add content to the page properties, we're going to use the table element. So we want to have a base pair. So we want to have the title and the actual data. So by standard, you get 3 columns. So we're going to click on this one and we're going to remove the last column. And then we're going to, I usually do this for cosmetic reasons. You don't have to do this, but I remove the header row and then I set a header column instead. And whatever we place now in this column will be the headlines, and that we will show later on. So for this one, I'm going to do status. I'm going to do report or responsible, let's call it that. And we can have date. Yeah, so we know. So the status for the page will show what the status is, how far we have come. So we just do the status. And we can put this one in yellow and say in progress. Responsible, for this one we can use the name macro. So just use @ and I just used my name. And for date, we do the same with the date object. And then we can say this one needs to be done by the 31st, let's say. Now this is all we actually need to place a page property on this page. And we can fill this one out with any data that we want. So we can continue adding more rows if we want that. But for now, just for the purpose of this one, let's just publish this one. And now you see we have a nice little table here. And if I go in and edit this again, and I can click up here on the page properties and the pen. There we go. And now I can make this hidden so you can see what that one looks like. And click publish. And now you see it's still there, but we cannot actually see it. It's hidden for us. And you also have different versions on how you want to present this. So you can have it wide, you can have it centered, and you can have full width. So these are the options that you can have to how you want to display this. Let's just use this one for center for now. And go to publish. Now to display these, oh sorry, I shouldn't have kept them hidden. So let's just show them again. There we go. There we go. And to display these, let's copy this one and make another one. So we can see that it works for 2. And we will call these page properties 2. And we will make this one green and say that it is published. Let's see. And let's do another date. Let's say set this one for the 19th. There we go. Now we have 2 items here, 2 pages, page properties and page properties 2. And what we want to do now is we want to create a new page for all the page properties. And I'm actually going to rename this one so we can do that properly. So we just call this one page properties 1. There we go. Now we can create a new page that is called page properties, and we place these below that one in the tree. And what I want to do on this page is I want to list all the items and all the pages that I have previously created. And how I do that is I use the page properties report. Now, as you can see, it will automatically create a report, a list of items with the different titles or the different labels that we placed in our page properties table. So we have title, we have date, we have responsible and status. So as you remember, we put status, responsible and date. Those were the 3 rows that we created in our table. And the title is of course the title of the pages themselves. Now we can control these, and we can actually say that this one should only show us things of a certain label. So let's just page properties. If we add that label, now it will not show anything because we haven't added any labels to our pages. We can also select if we want to have this from one space or if we want to have it from multiple spaces. And we can also add a bunch of filters. We can say, for example, that this one is with an ancestor, a previous higher up. We can also add multiple numbers of filters to this, so we can have it on whoever created it, who has been a contributor. We can have it if it includes a certain text, if it is of a certain type, for example. So if we take a type, then we can select if it is a page, a comment, blog, and so on. So we can actually filter out this one even more. But for now, let's just add this one with a label. And we can also add a bunch of options to this. So the options that we can do is we can target specific properties IDs. So if we have multiple IDs on a page, then we can actually target specific portions of that page, specific page properties. We can actually place a column heading. So let's just do that. Just so we see where it ends up. And we can also control what columns we want to show. So in the example that we had status, we had responsible, and we had date. So if we want, we can filter out and just show status and reporter, for example, or the responsible one. And we do that just by stating here now status, and then a comma, and then we have responsible. That way we can target. So if we have data sets in our page properties that are quite large and we just want to show certain things, then we can filter this out. We're not going to do that for this one, but just so you know that you can do that. And you also have the number of items, so you can select this one by any number. So if you just want to show top 5, or if you want to show 5,000, you can select that here. And you can also sort by different columns to different titles that you place in your page properties. And by default it will do last modified dates. So if we want, we can have this sorted by title, and that way you will have the title that you can see here will actually be what we are sorting on. And you can reverse that as well. So if you want to have title but you want it the opposite way, then you can just click there. You can also select if you want to show how many comments, likes, and you can also select if you want to show the number of labels and create a last modified time and so on. So I'm just going to save this one for now, and we come back and we're going to change some of these things here so you can see how it appears. But right now we don't have anything because we haven't placed any labels yet. So I'm going to save this one. I'm going to publish this one, and then it will be blank. So let me just fix the tree first. There we go. Now we have a nice tree. So for each of these now I want to add that label. So we're going to add the page properties. And the same thing with the next one. There we go. Now, right away, nothing will actually happen because this is cached, so you might need to refresh the page for them to show up. There you go. And now you see we have both of them that we have now connected with our label. Now if I go in here, and we can actually see what this one looks like when we do a few of the changes. So in the options we can now add, let's add comments, likes, labels, creator, and last modified time, and we save that one. Now you see these will be spit out, and when we publish this, you will see that we have modified, we will have labels and creator. And if we add a comment to one of the pages, so let's just add a comment. And we go back to the page properties. Then you see it will appear at the end of the row here. So that's it for how we can create page properties. So that's it for how we can use page properties. And if you like this content, I'm gonna produce more of these short videos to show you certain macros. So subscribe if that is interesting for you. And until next time, be safe out there.